The Department of Energy says power outages could surge 10,000% over the next few years, thanks to power-hungry AI data centers. With the grid already struggling to keep up with demand, now is the time to prepare. My Patriot Supply is making it easy with their Christmas in July bundle, featuring the Grid Doctor 3300 solar generator. And for a limited time, they're including over $1,000 in free survival gear along with it. Emergency food, water filtration, backup power, and essential tools. The Grid Doctor delivers 3,300 watts of power, enough to run your fridge, CPAP, power tools, and more. It's whisper quiet, gas-free, and completely off-grid. When the next power outage hits, you'll be glad you planned ahead. Go to mypatriotsupply.com/radio. That's mypatriotsupply.com/radio. And grab the Christmas in July bundle while it lasts. Blackouts are coming. Go to mypatriotsupply.com/radio and get prepared today.
Hey parents, you don't need the latest gizmo slang or clothes to be a perfect parent, because kids in foster care don't need perfection. They need you. For more information on how you can adopt, go to adoptuskids.org. A public service announcement from the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services, Adopt Us Kids, and the Ad Council.
This is the Money Matters Radio Network. WBNW 1120 AM and W275CM FM. Concord, Boston. The Money Matters Radio Network.
Hey, listen. Are you a 50-year-old person looking for term life insurance? Then you need to talk to Bob. Bob specializes in helping people find $1 million or more of term life insurance for a couple of $100 a month. Look, you need to know there's a price war in the term life insurance business, and you may be paying too much. Call Bob, and he'll shop and see how much money he can save you. Look, this could be the last term life insurance policy you ever have. Your rates are guaranteed for the next 20 years. That's right, guaranteed level rates for the next 20 years. And if you're a smoker or your health is not perfect, Bob has great rates for you too. So for $1 million of term life insurance coverage for a couple of $100 a month, call Bob right now. 800-965-7987. 800-965-7987. 800-965-7987. That's 800-965-7987. Paid for by Term Direct.
Hi, this is Mike Armstrong from the Armstrong Advisory Group. I'm joined today by Paul Lane to talk about our brand new guide, AI and Your Financial Plan. It's new for the month of July. And Paul, we're hearing companies all over the investment universe talking about how they're utilizing artificial intelligence in their workplace. And one of them that's been getting more and more mention is specifically in investment design and strategy. What are you hearing from major money managers when it comes to artificial intelligence?
One of the powerful things about AI is the ability to take vast amounts of data and synthesize it down into something comprehensive that's easily usable to run portfolio models out there. So utilizing price to earnings data and other financial metrics, these AI systems can collaborate with all of the data that they're provided and come out with an outcome to rebalance a portfolio and to make certain investment decisions over time.
Now, what I get worried about is companies starting to market this stuff as something that it's not. To your knowledge, is there anything out there that is actually recommending securities based on AI that has any sort of track record?
Not at this point in time. It's really important to note that this technology is in its infancy, and while it is exciting and there is a lot to be learned and further developed here, there is no proven case that there is a perfected AI model in place that's publicly available.
The brand new guide from the Armstrong Advisory Group for the month of July is called AI and Your Financial Plan. You can get your copy by calling 800-393-4001. Again, that's AI and Your Financial Plan. Get your free copy by calling 800-393-4001.
The proceeding was paid for by Armstrong Advisory Group, a registered investment advisor. Nothing in the ad or in any Armstrong guide is specific financial, legal, or tax advice. Consult your own financial, tax, and estate planning advisors before making any investment decisions. Armstrong may contact you to offer investment advisory services.
Are you over the age of 50? Want peace of mind and financial security for your family? Here's an important message to you from Senior Care USA. The average funeral now costs over $10,000. That leaves your loved ones the burden of paying your debts and funeral costs. Our plans start as low as $1 per day and will pay your family up to $30,000 to help pay for your funeral and other expenses. There are no medical exams, your rates will never increase, and your plan cannot be canceled, regardless regardless of your medical conditions, as long as you make your premium payments. Get up to $30,000 in final expense insurance. Call now for free information. Just answer a few simple questions and get approved right over the phone in just a few minutes. Call right now.
Call 800-378-3818. 800-378-3818. 800-378-3818. That's 800-378-3818.
Hi, I'm Michael Valila, Adjutant of the Disabled American Veterans Department of Massachusetts. The DAV of Massachusetts provides thousands of hours of voluntary services at our VA medical centers and soldiers' homes and is the only DAV department in the country to lead a veterans housing initiative for both single veterans and those with families. These programs are critical to serving our veterans in their time of need. You can help our great American heroes by making a donation today. Please visit dav5k.boston. That's dav5k.boston.
As a busy mom, my to-do list is full.
While we can't add more hours to the day, we do have a great resource to help.
Go Red for Women has information to help you and your family live a healthier life.
Visit goredforwomen.org/momlife today.
The Financial Exchange is produced by Money Matters Radio and is hosted by employees of the Armstrong Advisory Group, a registered investment advisor. All opinions expressed are solely those of the hosts, do not reflect the opinions of Armstrong Advisory or anyone else. Investments can lose money. This program does not offer any specific financial or investment advice. Please consult your own financial, tax, and estate planning advisors before making any investment decisions. Armstrong Advisory and the advertisers heard on this program do not endorse each other or their services. Armstrong and Money Matters Radio do not compensate each other for referrals and are not affiliated. This is the Financial Exchange with Chuck Zodda and Mike Armstrong. Your exclusive look at business and financial news affecting your day, your city, your world. Stay informed and up to date about economic and market trends, plus breaking business news every day. The Financial Exchange is a proud partner of the Disabled American Veterans Department of Massachusetts. Help us support our great American heroes by visiting dav5k.boston and making a donation today. This is the Financial Exchange with Chuck Zodda and Mike Armstrong.
Chuck, Mike, and Tucker with you here, and as we continue through a busy week, but not as busy as next week, which is next week.
A doozy.
Next week is Christmas in July. Let's just call it what it is. It is Christmas in July next week. I know that's technically tomorrow, but hey, next week is close enough. And what we are getting this week is more news on the trade front. Obviously, late Wednesday, news broke of the deal between the United States and Japan. Yesterday, around 11:54 a.m., stocks jumped about 1/3%, and I said, gee, like, what caused that? And it turns out it was a report from, I believe it was the Financial Times.
Correct.
That the United States and EU are close to a deal that would set tariff rates at 15% for imports to the United States as well. And so this leads us to this piece from the Wall Street Journal, which is titled, Trump's new trade standard takes shape with a 15% tariff deal. And that seems to be, I think, for countries that are close and large trading partners of the U.S., that seems to be the standard. For those who are not as close, it seems like 20 to 25% is going to be the standard based on the announcements without confirmation from Vietnam and is it Malaysia?
Else? Did we get anything else other than Vietnam and the UK?
It was the Philippines, which I also don't think was confirmed by the other side, and there's one more. Yeah.
Okay. But in any case, the news that broke from Financial Times yesterday seemed to insinuate that where we would land with the European Union would be
Philippines was 19.
15% range, I guess.
Yeah, and so basically where this is pointing is that the April 2nd tariff announcements, which obviously were much, much higher and subsequently revised down to 10% on April 9th, are likely going to see those rates escalate further probably to somewhere between 15 and 25%. I'm guessing the average is probably going to end up being like 17 or 18%.
I'd go closer to 15, given if you land there with Europe, Japan, I guess it depends where China lands.
I mean, China's not getting 15.
No, they're not.
You know,
So, yeah,
Vietnam came in at 20, Philippines
Sure.
are at 19. Like,
Yep.
I think you're going to end up like probably averaging somewhere in like the high teens
Yep.
when it's all said and done.
Yep.
On a weighted basis. I mean, like, I don't care if Sri Lankan imports are tariffed at, I think it was announced at like a 40% rate or something like that, because we import next to nothing from Sri Lanka. I'm sure it's not great for the importers of Sri Lankan goods to be
True.
like, hey, I have to deal with this. Like, it's not to say that for that particular business it's easy, but the broad impact on the U.S. economy is next to nothing from that, because we just don't import much from Sri Lanka. It's not an important trading partner.
And as we've been talking about now for weeks, the effect on the overall economy by higher tariffs. I mean, there's a few, obviously. But as the Treasury has pointed out many times, we're talking about largely a one-time price adjustment and higher inflation over a period of the next 12 months, at which point, if the tariff rates are actually stable and predictable, is it my favorite tool to use in order to, impact things in the economy? No, we've talked at length about how most of our views is that free trade is better for the United States and other countries. But if it's stable, predictable, and you know where tariff rates are going to be over the next few years, and they're not in the 50% on average range, then it's something that you can actually build upon and build a business model upon.
The question is, will these rates be stable and predictable?
Yeah.
Because here's the thing. If we look at how these have evolved, let's look at the period from, well, I guess it's basically the whole term. So if we look at a few areas, just as an example, steel and aluminum tariffs went into effect early. It was in Q1.
Yeah.
I can't remember if it was February or March. 25%. About a month or so ago, announcement that aluminum and steel tariffs going up to 50%. So they moved up further. Copper, not tariffed initially. Now you have these 50% tariffs that are going into effect on August 1st. The interesting thing, this is kind of wild actually. Have you seen what is going on with shipping in order to deal with this?
Nope.
There are a bunch of ships that are coming from Southeast Asia. Most of the copper that we get is from South America, but some of it is, mined in Southeast Asia as well. And there are a number of ships, I think it's 5 or 6 of them, that originally were supposed to be heading to mainland U.S. ports that are now making a beeline for Hawaii in order to get the copper into
somewhere.
the U.S. before August 1st. It's also really unclear that Hawaiian authorities have the wherewithal and means to actually clear the copper through customs there, just because it doesn't normally show up there in these quantities. And so it's one of these things where it's like, hey, these are these weird dislocations that you have here where you've got a bunch of copper heading places that it wouldn't normally go just in order to manage the tariff side of things. When we look at the country-specific tariffs, you have 10% is kind of this blanket baseline that was in place in April, now heading up to probably between 15 and 25%, depending on the country. So again, they're moving up there. At the same time, auto tariffs on Japan heading down from 25 to 15. Same on the EU, it sounds like, though we still don't have any specifics or confirmation on exactly what we're getting there. And so I guess my point is twofold. The first is, you could make a case that tariffs are a one-time price hit if there is a one-time increase in tariffs.
Right. If they constantly change.
If they're increasing or changing every 3 to 4 months, it's no longer a one-time price increase because, sure, while auto tariffs coming down has an impact on people buying cars, the fact is the U.S. sells within its borders about 16 million cars in any particular given year. There are 330 plus million people here, so about 5% of Americans make a car purchase every year. But all of the other stuff that gets imported from Japan, you think about all the people that buy PlayStations, all the people, all the factories that are buying, high-end Japanese industrial equipment. Now you're saying, okay, that stuff's being taxed at a higher rate than it was previously, so you have to figure out, what that does. The other piece on the auto tariffs that I'll add is those tariffs coming down now, to me, especially when you're raising the price of intermediate goods such as steel, copper, and aluminum, it doesn't seem to be creating the best environment for domestic manufacturing because you're making the steel, aluminum, and copper that domestic manufacturers need more expensive than the stuff that's produced elsewhere.
And it's still not terribly clear to us, or it's not clear to me, maybe you have an answer for me, but if we import a Japanese-made Toyota,
yes,
are we facing a purely 15% tariff rate, or are they attempting to calculate how much copper is in that car and assign a higher tariff rate to that vehicle?
Unclear.
I think so too. But if they're not, if they're just saying, nope, 15% on the value of that imported car, yeah, you're right. For Ford, General Motors, and Stellantis, for them to go and manufacture that same vehicle here domestically in the United States without some sort of break on those tariffs on copper, steel, and aluminum, plus the complexities of 25% auto tariff rates on vehicles manufactured in Mexico and Canada, it gets complicated.
Which is why I continue to come back to, hey, pay attention to what people do, not what people say. And ultimately, if you look at the actions that are being taken, it seems to me that this is more, and I'm not saying this is good or bad, I'm just saying this is like my read on it. The Trump administration wants the tax revenue from this. The other stuff, hey, we want to, increase the competitiveness of American manufacturing, especially in like places like autos. A 50% tariff on steel and aluminum doesn't really reflect that, in my opinion. It makes it more challenging. I'm not saying that maybe you don't eventually get to a point where you're, doing what you want, but based on what I see, I think it's more about the revenue than anything else. And to this point, the cost of that revenue has not shown up broadly in the U.S. economy. Will it at some point? I suspect it will, and we're starting to see like the first signs of it in these earnings reports that we're getting and in the June CPI. I'm very interested to see what the next couple months of data show, just because we'll have had more time for things to seep in. These higher rates will have started to kick in as well in some cases, and so I think we're at a point right now where there's a lot of complacency right now that, hey, these tariffs have been in place for a few months and things are fine, but it takes a while for stuff to actually go through the system here. And I'm not saying that we will or won't see bigger problems, but we just need to see kind of what unfolds here in the next couple months. Let's take a quick break. When we return, let's talk Tesla. They reported earnings after the bell yesterday, and the stock is on the move today. So we'll discuss Tesla and Mr. Musk right after this.
Business and financial news affecting the markets and your wallet. We've got it all straight from Wall Street, right here on the Financial Exchange Radio Network. Changes to Medicaid occur almost every year, and if you're not informed, your assets could be at risk, especially if you or your spouse need nursing home care. Cushing & Dolan are experts in elder law, and their new guide is called Last Minute Medicaid Eligibility. It'll help you understand the Medicaid process, which is critically important if you're retired or getting close to retiring. The guide has important information regarding numerous strategies that can protect your assets from the nursing home. It could be your primary home, a vacation home, or any rental property you may own. You've worked hard to achieve wealth, so don't take chances when it comes to protecting it. Get your copy of Cushing & Dolan's brand new guide called Last Minute Medicaid Eligibility. Call right now. 866-848-5699. That's 866-848-5699. Or you can request it online by visiting LegalExchangeShow.com. That's LegalExchangeShow.com. The proceeding was paid for and the views expressed are solely those of Cushing & Dolan. Cushing & Dolan and or Armstrong Advisory may contact you offering legal or investment services. Cushing & Dolan and Armstrong Advisory do not endorse each other and are not affiliated.
Artificial intelligence is having a profound effect on daily business. Its reach and result is significant and will likely only continue to grow, and that may present an incredible opportunity to include in a financial plan for the future. Hi, this is Chuck Zodda from the Armstrong Advisory Group. AI's technologies could be described as groundbreaking, and that's why we've written a new guide this month called AI in Your Financial Plan. Understanding how AI works may offer you insight and information about how to craft a plan that you haven't yet thought of, but it's not without risk. Call the Armstrong Advisory Group right now at 800-393-4001 and ask for your free guide today. That's 800-393-4001. You can also request this guide online by visiting armstrongadvisory.com. That's armstrongadvisory.com.
The proceeding was paid for by Armstrong Advisory Group, a registered investment advisor. Nothing in the ad or in any Armstrong guide is specific financial, legal, or tax advice. Consult your own financial, tax, and estate planning advisors before making any investment decisions. Armstrong may contact you to offer investment advisory services. Summer's here, New England, and it's the perfect time to trade the daily routine for something extraordinary. Say hello to the U.S. Virgin Islands, America's Caribbean paradise. Explore the vibrant history and flavor of St. Croix. Lounge on the stunning beaches of St. Thomas, or find your peace on the quiet shores of St. John. From the moment you arrive, you'll feel it. You're naturally in rhythm with the heartbeat of the islands. There's no passport needed, no currency to exchange, just warm weather, clear blue water, and unforgettable experiences waiting for you. Whether you're planning a romantic escape, a family adventure, or a little of both, this is the summer to make it happen. Go to visitusvi.com to learn more and start planning. That's visitusvi.com. Your island getaway is closer than you think. The U.S. Virgin Islands, where summer never ends. Book your trip today at visitusvi.com.
It happens all over Massachusetts. In every home and every community.
Be careful on your bike.
Learning can happen anytime, anywhere.
See you at practice this weekend.
And no matter how learning takes place in your family's life, DESE is there as your partner. The Massachusetts Department of Elementary and Secondary Education. Never stop learning. Find out more at mass.gov/back-to-school.
Sponsored by the Massachusetts Department for Elementary and Secondary Education.
Cardiovascular disease is the #1 killer of women,
taking the lives of 1 in 3.
That's more than all forms of cancer combined.
For too long, heart disease and stroke have taken the lives of the women we love.
But we're not giving up because we have something better,
stronger, more powerful.
We have each other.
When we come together and go red,
the more power we have against our greatest health threat.
Visit goredforwomen.org today to learn more.
If you missed any of today's show, catch up whenever you want on our YouTube page. Find daily show segments and full shows. Just go to youtube.com and search for The Financial Exchange. This is your home for breaking business and financial news. This is the Financial Exchange Radio Network.
Now's a great time to register for the DAV 5K, taking place Saturday, November 8th at Fort Independence on Castle Island. The race is sold out each of the past 4 years, and slots are continuing to fill up quickly. So don't delay. Visit dav5k.boston to reserve your spot, or join our team here at the Financial Exchange by registering under Team TFE. That's Saturday, November 8th for this year's DAV 5K. Sign up now at dav5k.boston.
So Tesla reported earnings after the closing bell yesterday. They should do something different from a bell.
Don't even acknowledge that, Mike.
The bell's a little outdated.
I wouldn't mind a closing gong once a week.
A closing gong, I think, would be good. I don't think we could go wrong with that. But anyways,
opening bell, closing gong. But only once. You can't do that every day. That would get exhausting.
Maybe you just do the gong when the market closes down.
Okay.
In any case, Tesla reported earnings here, and I'm just going to read a quote from Elon Musk. We could probably have a few rough quarters, but once you get to autonomy at scale in the second half of next year, certainly by the end of next year, I would be surprised if Tesla's economics are not very compelling. So pretty much what he is talking about is you've got these EV incentives that are going to be dropping off the board later this year. $7,500 federal tax credit.
Yes.
And pretty much what he's saying, and he came out and said this because they were talking about...
I think it's September 30th, by the way, that disappears.
I don't know the exact date. But he was talking about the cheaper Model Y that they're going to be rolling out. They were talking about, hey, when's your low-cost thing, coming? And he said, well, we've started production on it, and just so you know, it's a cheaper Model Y. It's not a, separate model. And he said in no uncertain terms that the problem that we're having is that people can't afford our cars right now. We need to get the prices down. And obviously, when you lose a $7,500 tax incentive, the price is going to go up.
I'm on their website right now, and just so you know, the advertised price, for example, for a long-range all-wheel drive Model 3 is the advertised price is $39,000. You hover over the information piece here. That includes a $960 price reduction and $7,500 tax credit. This is a $47,000, $48,000 car.
Sure. And so I think where we're at is now, look, there are 2 consecutive quarters of declining year-over-year sales. The loss of that incentive is going to create a further problem for them, and margins are narrowing. It's something where the core business is shrinking right now, which is not great if you are an automaker. You're not really built to see 15, 16% year-over-year declines in sales volume because your factories need to be working at full tilt in order for them to be profitable. So this is once again a case where if you want to believe in the company, you kind of got to take that leap of faith that, hey, the 10 to 20 robo-taxis that they've been running in Austin, Texas, are they going to be able to scale them up to a profitable business in the next 12 to 18 months? That's the bet that you're making. Historically, Tesla has always been behind their set timelines, including the rollouts of the robo-taxis. They've been talking about these for 9-10 years. And it's not to say that this won't be the time that they finally get it right, but the track record of,
timely rollout of new technology
is not great for them. They have solved a number of problems with making EVs profitably that a lot of other automakers couldn't figure out, but that was before there was the amount of competition there was, and the market looks somewhat saturated as well in terms of EV demand right now. So
they face problems on a lot of fronts. And I'll start by acknowledging that I've driven a Tesla, and compared to any other EV that I've been in, and compared to, gas-powered vehicles, like the technology in a Tesla I find very compelling.
Yeah.
I have a new Toyota, which comes with the new Toyota app. The new Toyota app is useless. It doesn't actually do anything, whereas the Tesla app, I can start the car, I can air condition the car, I can leave my dog.
Why does Toyota have an app then? What does it do?
I don't know what it's...
What can you do?
You can... book an appointment at a dealership to get your car serviced, and you can navigate to the dealership.
Not useful.
No, not at all.
Not useful.
It sends you some alerts if the locks are, if the doors are unlocked, but you can't lock the vehicle from the app. So
also useless.
Doesn't actually do anything for you, and that's where my point would be. Tesla has a compelling vehicle that they can't seemingly pull off sales with, and there's more than one reason for this. Elon Musk himself is a big part of that. He is, pardon my language, but he's pissed off people all around the world on the left and the right. Probably more importantly than that, every auto manufacturer in the world has caught up with making EVs and making them at scale.
A lot more competition now.
Much more competition, and the worst piece of that competition is not coming from Ford and General Motors and Mercedes. The toughest part of that competition is coming from China, which is not an issue here domestically in the United States because we don't allow them to sell their vehicles here. But in most of the rest of the world, it is a real challenge for Tesla, who was previously counting on those sales in Europe, in China, in other parts of Asia and Latin America. No, you're getting absolutely dominated by BYD and other Chinese automakers.
So, as a result of this, Tesla stock down around 8.6% today to $304 and change. Actually, now moving south of 304 to the high 303s. And so there clearly is an issue that they are facing. It's been a tough quarter for all automakers that have been reporting, because remember, these are also companies that are dealing with higher input costs because of steel and aluminum prices that are moving up. And so there's some real challenges that Tesla is going to be facing. And here's the thing. When you're an automaker that starts to get into trouble, it becomes very challenging to get out of it because of how much capital is required in order to do the things that typically turn a car company around. New models, refreshed features, things along those lines. Tesla went through refreshes already of its Model Y and Model 3 in Q1 of this year, and the Q2 sales numbers reflect those new models that didn't really make a difference in the overall trajectory.
Relying on that self-driving now more than ever.
Quick break here. When we come back, we got Wall Street Watch, and then we're talking the Googs.
Like us on Facebook and follow us on Twitter @TFE Show. Breaking business news is always first, right here on the Financial Exchange Radio Network.
Environmental nonprofit Ocean River Institute is working with communities to tackle climate change with nature-based solutions that feature slowing water down and building more soil with grasses and plants. Research indicates that people acting in their own neighborhoods can build an inch of soil in a year and slow sea level rise down by as much as 25%. Please visit oceanriver.org for more information on opportunities to make a difference and go the distance for savvy stewardship of a greener and bluer planet Earth.
Sometimes we know what's next. Other times, it's impossible to know. Life can change in an instant. Don't be caught standing by the next time someone's heart stops. Knowing CPR gives you the ability to act and takes you from bystander to lifesaver. CPR is a life-saving skill. Join the nation of lifesavers today by learning CPR at heart.org/nation. National support for CPR education provided by Elevance Health Foundation.
Hey, listen, are you a 50-year-old person looking for term life insurance? Then you need to talk to Bob. Bob specializes in helping people find $1 million or more of term life insurance for a couple of $100 a month. Look, you need to know there's a price war in the term life insurance business, and you may be paying too much. Call Bob, and he'll shop and see how much money he can save you. Look, this could be the last term life insurance policy you ever have. Your rates are guaranteed for the next 20 years. That's right, guaranteed level rates for the next 20 years. And if you're a smoker or your health is not perfect, Bob has great rates for you too. So for $1 million of term life insurance coverage for a couple of $100 a month, call Bob right now. 800-965-7987. 800-965-7987. 800-965-7987. That's 800-965-7987. Paid for by Term Direct.
New Englanders love the Caribbean, and now there's a Caribbean travel channel available for you to learn all about Caribbean culture while you're planning your next trip to your favorite island. The TravelShareIt.com marketplace is loaded with information about the arts, festivals, food, and music throughout the Caribbean, and is an interactive website featuring daily travel deals to any island of your choice. Book your next Caribbean vacation on the most comprehensive travel channel for the islands, TravelShareIt.com. That's TravelShareIt.com.
This is Michael Valila, Adjutant of the Disabled American Veterans Department of Massachusetts. We focus on the people returning from service, not their specific illness or injury. Our number one goal is to make sure our veterans have the necessary services they need, be it physical, emotional, or financial, so that their transition can be seamless. You can help our great American heroes as well by making a donation today by visiting dav5k.boston. That's dav5k.boston.
This is Tucker Silva of the Financial Exchange Show, and I'm joined today by estate planning attorney Todd Lutzke from the law firm of Cushing & Dolan with your Financial Exchange quick tip of the day. And today we're talking about techniques that can help protect your assets from long-term care expenses last minute. Todd, what happens to your home when a spouse enters a nursing home and no planning has been done? And is it different for single individuals?
Yeah, so very good question, and the answer is yes, it is different. So let's talk about the spouse first. When you're married, if you have a spouse living in the home, regardless of the value of the home, as long as it's located in Massachusetts, it's non-countable. And it's non-lienable. So it's really, truly protected. Now, don't leave it that way. Make sure you put it 100% in the name of the healthy spouse after that happens. However, for a single individual, it's a little different. As long as the value doesn't exceed $1,071,000, there's a number that changes every year. It goes up. Then it would be countable if it's worth more than that. If it's worth less than that and you check a box that you intend to return home, it's non-countable, but it's lienable. But so what? Getting on the Medicaid at the Medicaid rate is better than paying privately.
Todd Lutzke and the estate planning experts at Cushing & Dolan have written a brand new guide that details last-minute Medicaid eligibility. You can request this brand new guide by calling 866-848-5699. That's 866-848-5699. Or you can simply request the guide from their website, legalexchangeshow.com.
The proceeding was paid for, and the views expressed are solely those of Cushing & Dolan. Cushing & Dolan and/or Armstrong Advisory may contact you offering legal or investment services. Cushing & Armstrong do not endorse each other and are not affiliated. Time now for Wall Street Watch. A complete look at what's moving markets so far today, right here on the Financial Exchange Radio Network.
Markets are mixed as investors digest Mag 7 earnings from Alphabet and Tesla, where Alphabet's results impressed, yet Tesla's revenue disappointed. Right now, the Dow is off by about 1/3% or 147 points. S&P 500 is up modestly by 10 points, nearly 0.2%. NASDAQ is edging 11 points higher, mostly flat. Russell 2000 is off 0.7%. 10-year Treasury yield up 2 basis points, now at 4.41%. And crude oil is up 1.3%, trading just above $66 a barrel. Alphabet shares climbing nearly 2% after the parent company of Google and YouTube posted a jump in revenue in the second quarter, driven by cloud growth. The tech giant also upped its annual capital expenditure forecast. Chuck and Mike will have more on Google's Alphabet in a matter of moments. As for Tesla, the EV maker reported a 16% drop in quarterly net income for the previous quarter and said car sales continued to fall. CEO Elon Musk highlighted plans to release a lower-priced Model Y and talked up plans to greatly expand the company's robo-taxi service to half the country by the end of the year. Tesla stock is now down over 8%. IBM falling about 8% despite the tech company's earnings beat with a growth in cloud software sales. IBM also raised its forecast for full-year free cash flow. Meanwhile, Union Pacific is in advanced discussions with Norfolk Southern about a potential combination of two of the U.S.'s freight railroad leaders. Union Pacific stock is pulling back over 1%, while Norfolk stock is up modestly. Chipotle sinking over 11% after the burrito chain cut its same-store sales forecast after posting weaker revenue for the previous quarter. American Airlines beat on the top and bottom lines for the previous quarter, but its current quarter profit forecast fell short of estimates, sending that stock down 7%. And after launching an ad campaign featuring actress Sydney Sweeney, American Eagle Outfitters seems to be garnering meme stock attention, joining the likes of recent newcomers Open Door, GoPro, Kohl's, and Krispy Kreme. American Eagle shares are now up over 8%. I'm Tucker Silva, and that is Wall Street Watch.
Let's talk a little bit about Google's earnings in a little bit more depth here. So, big thing, Google had earnings yesterday, and they were good. The business overall continues to show really solid growth. Their ad sales were up 10.4% year over year. Cloud unit revenue was up 32% from the previous year compared to 28% in the first quarter, so actually an acceleration on the cloud side of things for them. And you know, the question that people were asking, I forget who it was one of the Apple execs maybe a few months ago, was talking about how, you know, Google, like, people were going to stop using Google because of AI and everyone was going to migrate away from it. And obviously that's not what you're seeing here. And
I was going to say the two dominant themes that I can think of when it comes to Alphabet, Google's parent company, have been how is AI going to detract from your business and what does antitrust mean for you? And so I'd like to kind of focus this review of their earnings on those two subjects as you were doing, which is, yeah, the AI threat to this point has been pretty overblown for Alphabet.
Well, here's the thing. Like, let's really talk about this for a minute. The whole AI and search. Of the people that I know, like, in my life that I spend a lot of time with, my parents, my wife, a few close friends, I would say the vast majority of them don't use AI on any regular basis. Now, it's not to say that they won't eventually, but sometimes I think in our conversations about artificial intelligence, we get sucked into kind of this view that, like, everyone's, like, super online and plugged into the newest technologies, and we're going to not just surf the web, we're going to hyper surf the web, man. And that's just not who, like, normal humans are. Like, most people are just, like, trying to, like, get through their day from point A to point B, and generally are doing the same things they did the day before. So it's not to say that the artificial intelligence hype is overblown, but much more that there's still a lot of people that don't use artificial intelligence on a regular basis, and when they're searching for something, they do the same thing they've always done on their iPhone or on their Android phone, which is, hey, in the search bar for whatever the browser is, they type in what they want to see, and it takes them automatically to Google, and that's how things work.
Now, practically speaking, I just did that, and I randomly searched what are some good gluten-free dining options in Barcelona, Spain.
You typed that whole thing up?
I typed that whole thing up to see what the AI overview was, because this is where I am seeing it seep into the everyday person like your parents, where I'm performing a Google search, but I'm not getting a traditional result. Instead, I am getting an AI overview of the results that Google was able to find. What I find when I do this sort of thing is I end up clicking the links and end up going to the sites that are directly on the right of the search that are relevant to the search that I did. And so I think Google in many ways has fended off the threats of artificial intelligence to their core business model. And this seems to be a pretty good success story for how they're able to do so by still getting people to drive through to those links who are paying Google to be there.
So the interesting thing, though, is there are a number of reports that traffic from search engines in a few key areas are dropping pretty significantly.
Yeah.
So I'm trying to reconcile all of this. And the thing that I keep coming back to that and again, this is obviously a dramatization to a certain extent. I kind of wonder if AI is going to kill the internet. In two different respects. The first is there's so much AI-generated slop out there.
Yeah, that's where I thought you were going.
There are two different pieces. The first is, you just see so much badly written crap that's obviously from AI because it's different badly written crap than human badly written crap.
Yeah.
It's just like repetitive. It's like it has a certain
It all
tone
takes the
to
exact
it.
same format.
Correct. Beyond that, just the idea of, okay, now we have all these image generation and video generation things that are making it hard for us to distinguish what's real from what isn't.
I know you're not on social media as much as others are, Chuck. Like, you can't really go through Facebook without seeing fake AI-generated crap now, and it's
infuriating.
It's infuriating and dry. Like, I saw one the other day about how Connor McDavid's grandmother was supposedly in the Massachusetts nursing home fire and died, and there was a bunch of AI-generated just baloney all attached to it. And you just look at that like, one, why? I guess you're attracting clicks by doing so, but it just makes you want to disassociate with the internet. You're right.
So I think that's a problem. But the other one is the AI summaries. I wonder how many people just read those and don't go to the links, and how much that continues to drop traffic that's going to different areas. And I don't know what the answer is on all of these, but I got to tell you, and I know all of us think that everything was better when we were kids, but the internet was better when we were kids. Like, it didn't suck as much as it sucks now. There are good parts to it still. Like, I don't, I don't disparage the whole thing in its entirety. I do, because in the aggregate it's way worse. But it was a way more useful place before all of this. Like if I could go back to the 2004 internet, that was the peak.
That's where you're landed.
That was the peak.
Google's results are further complicated when it comes to AI by their differing businesses. Obviously, they absolutely dominate in search in ways that no other companies do. On other areas, though, they also have a full cloud division. What does that cloud division sell? Well, they sell computing power to
clouds.
data centers. They sell clouds to really dry places. No, they sell computing power to all sorts of companies that are trying to run artificial intelligence models. Guess what? That stuff's gotten more expensive over the last few years because of the demand. And so they don't have the dominant position there that they do in search. You've got Amazon, you've got Oracle, you've got Microsoft that compete with them in that same space. But it is, when you see their overall revenue increase 14% year over year, it becomes a little bit tricky to draw, hey, what is that overall AI impact? Is it truly benefiting? Is it benefiting for the short term with some long-term drawbacks? Or will they find ways to dominate in that space with the, what is it now, $85 billion that they plan to spend on AI R&D over the course of next year?
Let's take a quick break. When we come back, we're talking Nvidia and more artificial intelligence when we return.
Find daily interviews and full shows of the Financial Exchange on our YouTube page. Get caught up on anything and everything you might have missed. This is the Financial Exchange Radio Network.
Artificial intelligence is having a profound effect on daily business. Its reach and result is significant and will likely only continue to grow, and that may present an incredible opportunity to include in a financial plan for the future. Hi, this is Chuck Zodda from the Armstrong Advisory Group. AI's technologies could be described as groundbreaking, and that's why we've written a new guide this month called AI in Your Financial Plan. Understanding how AI works may offer you insight and information about how to craft a plan that you haven't yet thought of, but it's not without risk. Call the Armstrong Advisory Group right now at 800-393-4001 and ask for your free guide today. That's 800-393-4001. You can also request this guide online by visiting armstrongadvisory.com. That's armstrongadvisory.com.
The proceeding was paid for by Armstrong Advisory Group, a registered investment advisor. Nothing in the ad or in any Armstrong guide is specific financial, legal, or tax advice. Consult your own financial, tax, and estate planning advisors before making any investment decisions. Armstrong may contact you to offer investment advisory services. Changes to Medicaid occur almost every year, and if you're not informed, your assets could be at risk, especially if you or your spouse need nursing home care. Cushing & Dolan are experts in elder law, and their new guide is called Last Minute Medicaid Eligibility. It'll help you understand the Medicaid process, which is critically important if you're retired or getting close to retiring. The guide has important information regarding numerous strategies that can protect your assets from the nursing home. It could be your primary home, a vacation home, or any rental property you may own. You've worked hard to achieve wealth, so don't take chances when it comes to protecting it. Get your copy of Cushing & Dolan's brand new guide called Last Minute Medicaid Eligibility. Call right now. 866-848-5699. That's 866-848-5699. Or you can request it online by visiting LegalExchangeShow.com. That's LegalExchangeShow.com. The proceeding was paid for and the views expressed are solely those of Cushing & Dolan. Cushing & Dolan and or Armstrong Advisory may contact you offering legal or investment services. Cushing & Dolan and Armstrong Advisory do not endorse each other and are not affiliated. Summer's here, New England, and it's the perfect time to trade the daily routine for something extraordinary. Say hello to the U.S. Virgin Islands, America's Caribbean paradise. Explore the vibrant history and flavor of St. Croix, lounge on the stunning beaches of St. Thomas, or find your peace on the quiet shores of St. John. From the moment you arrive, you'll feel it. You're naturally in rhythm with the heartbeat of the islands. There's no passport needed, no currency to exchange, just warm weather, clear blue water, and unforgettable experiences waiting for you. Whether you're planning a romantic escape, a family adventure, or a little of both, this is the summer to make it happen. Go to visitusvi.com to learn more and start planning. That's visitusvi.com. Your island getaway is closer than you think. The U.S. Virgin Islands, where summer never ends. Book your trip today at visitusvi.com.
Here at the Massachusetts Department of Elementary and Secondary Education, we are committed to all students not only attending, but succeeding at school. Your presence is powerful. Share why you attend at doe.mass.edu.
Sponsored by the Massachusetts Department of Elementary and Secondary Education.
Celebrate National Farmers Market Week, August 3rd through 9th. It's the perfect time to explore your local market and enjoy some peak summer produce, sweet corn, juicy tomatoes, berries, and more. Support local farms, eat fresh, and build community. Mass Farmers Market supports more than 200 markets across Massachusetts, growing food access and farm sustainability statewide. Find a market near you at massfarmersmarkets.org. That's massfarmersmarkets.org. Sponsored by Mass Farmers Markets.
Text us 617-362-1385 with your comments and questions about today's show. This is the Financial Exchange Radio Network.
All right, we got a couple Nvidia stories here. The first is that the Trump administration rolled out a new artificial intelligence action plan yesterday, and they had the CEOs of Nvidia and AMD and a few other tech CEOs there as well in order to talk about this. And it's pretty clear to me that I would say since mid to late May, there's a big push from the administration to basically allow semiconductor companies to sell as many chips as possible to as many places as possible.
Yeah, I think that's the push. I also think that what the administration is doing is paving the way for not only the manufacturer design of these types of things and the revenue that would incentivize it, but in the use cases of artificial intelligence, attempting to create a very relaxed regulatory environment for doing so. I think through what that might mean for our own industry for a moment here. And it's probably going to mean a bigger push by big investment firms to try out different AI technologies without being concerned that the SEC is breathing down their neck on the advertising of the tools and the use of the tools as they were previously. And that probably permeates through healthcare, through other industries as well.
The second story that we have here that relates to this, and this is from this is the Financial Times. Yes. The headline is Nvidia AI chips worth $1 billion smuggled to China after Trump export controls. And this gets at the fact that, look, even if you have export controls in place, there obviously are people and institutions that are willing to pay a pretty penny in order to circumvent them.
Smuggle. Yeah.
And so that stuff happens as well. I don't think that necessarily means that you just give up and say, okay, we're not going to do this. But it does speak to the challenge in trying to enforce these, just because you say, okay, you can't send these chips to China. Great, they went to Singapore, and then someone popped them in, a container and got them to China through, a back channel on a boat that, was flagged out of Liberia and this and that,
It seems to me that, the push since May has been an acknowledgement that stopping that sort of thing is going to be tremendously difficult, and you'd have to severely inhibit the sales of these semiconductors to a bunch of countries other than China in order to do so. And it doesn't seem to be something the Trump administration is willing to do. Right? If you really want to stop it, you got to really slow down the sales to, like you said, Singapore, to Vietnam, to companies that are doing business in the Middle East. And it's tough to do that and fulfill the other objectives you have when it comes to negotiating trade deals, when it comes to paving the way for U.S. to dominate the AI story. And so what's going to happen is it's going to be easier for Chinese companies to buy the latest and greatest Nvidia chips, even though they're technically not allowed to still.
Doesn't feel great to me.
It's a big gamble.
Sure.
Summer's here in New England, and it's the perfect time to trade the daily routine for something extraordinary. So say hello to the U.S. Virgin Islands, America's Caribbean paradise. Explore the vibrant history and flavor of St. Croix, lounge on the stunning beaches of St. Thomas, or find your peace on the quiet shores of St. John. From the moment you arrive, you'll feel it. You're naturally in rhythm with the heartbeat of the islands. There's no passport needed, no currency to exchange, just warm weather, clear blue water, and unforgettable experiences waiting for you. Whether you're planning a romantic escape, a family event, adventure, or a little bit of both, this is the summer to make it happen. Go to visitusvi.com to learn more and start planning. That's visitusvi.com. Your island getaway is closer than you think. The U.S. Virgin Islands, where summer never ends. Book your trip today at visitusvi.com.
Story today out of the Boston Globe. Fenway Park concession workers say they will strike on Friday unless they get a new contract. The union authorized a strike last month. I think it was mid-June-ish, somewhere in that ballpark. And the big things that the union wants, they want better pay, and they want to reduce the use of automatic kiosks and self-checkout machines.
Chuck, this is going to be the story that dominates any sort of not even retail, many industries across our workforce for the next 5 years. We saw it with the dock workers strike last year. We're seeing it now with Fenway concessions. It's obvious why. I've talked about it on this program. If I am walking through a self-checkout kiosk where I place my beer on a camera and it identifies what I'm buying, rings me up, and all the person does is open the cans of beer, I'm not going to tip like I would if somebody had to pour a draft. And so they have identified something that's hurting their wages. I don't think that Fenway is going to be, or Aramark, the operator of the concessions, is going to be willing to move too much on that. But this same debate is going to play out in many industries.
So I've got a few different thoughts on this, just because there's a lot to get to. The first thing, just to be aware of, so the strike would last for 3 days. It would be the series with the Dodgers that kicks off tomorrow, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. First thing, if you go and purchase food or any concessions from a concession stand at Fenway during that time, you're crossing a picket line.
True.
Don't do that. Okay? Just don't do that. Again, I know that this might mean that you don't get to enjoy the game the same way because you don't get your hot dog and beers and whatever, but don't cross picket lines. Don't do that. The second piece here, as someone, I get to typically one Red Sox game a year now. Used to be a huge Red Sox fan as I got older, and it just became too much. I can't keep up with them, but I get to one a year. So I went with my dad a few weeks ago. We had a really good time. Ballpark looks great and everything. The one thing I'll say, having gone to one game a year for the last 4 or 5 years, the concessions experience at Fenway is the slowest I have ever seen.
Really?
It is.
Yeah, it's
it is
brutal.
horrible, and
I'm
it's
with you.
It's not on the workers. Whatever the system they have set up is just terrible. I compare it to the Bruins, where I go to a number of games each year, and you are in and out of concessions at the Garden, lickety split. It is slow as heck, and it's not on the workers. It's whatever the system is that they have set up just doesn't work, and the lines are horrible at Fenway. So Aramark needs to do some work on that and getting the system squared away. Finally, again, even though you don't want to be someone who crosses a picket line, look, we don't want to keep jobs just for the sake of keeping jobs. We want to improve productivity. Let's figure out how to do these things together. Quick break. Next hour coming up in a bit.
It happens all over Massachusetts.
Can you tie my shoes?
In every home and every community.
Be careful on your bike.
Learning can happen anytime, anywhere.
We'll see you at practice this weekend.
And no matter how learning takes place in your family's life, DESE is there as your partner. The Massachusetts Department of Elementary and Secondary Education. Never stop learning. Find out more at mass.gov/back-to-school.
Sponsored by the Massachusetts Department for Elementary and Secondary Education.
Environmental nonprofit Ocean River Institute is working with communities to tackle climate change with nature-based solutions that feature slowing water down and building more soil with grasses and plants. Research indicates that people acting in their own neighborhoods can build an inch of soil in a year and slow sea level rise down by as much as 25%. Please visit oceanriver.org for more information on opportunities to make a difference and go the distance for savvy stewardship of a greener and bluer planet Earth.
This is Michael Valila, Adjutant of the Disabled American Veterans Department of Massachusetts. The DAV of Massachusetts has helped me and countless others adjust to civilian life through a variety of incredible programs. Through our local Veterans Assistance Program, we provide necessary services to veterans in their communities, such as food shopping, landscaping, and companionship, but we need your support. You can help by making a donation today. Please visit dav5k.boston. That's dav5k.boston.
Summer's here, New England, and it's the perfect time to trade the daily routine for something extraordinary. Say hello to the U.S. Virgin Islands, America's Caribbean paradise. Explore the vibrant history and flavor of St. Croix, lounge on the stunning beaches of St. Thomas, or find your peace on the quiet shores of St. John. From the moment you arrive, you'll feel it. You're naturally in rhythm with the heartbeat of the islands. There's no passport needed, no currency to exchange, just warm weather, clear blue water, and unforgettable experiences waiting for you. Whether you're planning a romantic escape, a family adventure, or a little of both, this is the summer to make it happen. Go to visitusvi.com to learn more and start planning. That's visitusvi.com. Your island getaway is closer than you think. The U.S. Virgin Islands, where summer never ends. Book your trip today at visitusvi.com. This is the Money Matters Radio Network, WBNW 1120 AM and W275 CM FM, Concord, Boston. The Money Matters Radio Network.
Are you over the age of 50? Want peace of mind and financial security for your family? Here's an important message to you from Senior Care USA. The average funeral now costs over $10,000. That leaves your loved ones the burden of paying your debts and funeral costs. Our plans start as low as $1 per day and will pay your family up to $30,000 to help pay for your funeral and other expenses. There are no medical exams. Your rates will never increase, and your plan cannot be canceled, regardless of your medical conditions, as long as you make your premium payments. Get up to $30,000 in final expense insurance. Call now for free information. Just answer a few simple questions and get approved right over the phone in just a few minutes. Call right now.
Call 800-378-3818. 800-378-3818. 800-378-3818. That's 800-378-3818.
Here at the Massachusetts Department of Elementary and Secondary Education, we are committed to all students not only attending, but succeeding at school. Your presence is powerful. Share why you attend at doe.mass.edu.
Sponsored by the Massachusetts Department of Elementary and Secondary Education.
Did you outgrow your timeshare and now you want out? But you can't. You can't sell it, and you can't get out of the contract. Imagine trying to get out of your mortgage. That's what a timeshare is. You can't just call up the bank and say, I don't want to pay it anymore. But we may be able to help you do just that. Listen, a timeshare maybe for you once was a great thing, but now you don't use it much. And they are not easy to get rid of. Plus, you do have to pay for it every month. Qualified timeshare owners can get out of their contract legally and permanently without ruining your credit or even filing bankruptcy. And imagine no more mortgage payment or fees. Call the Timeshare Exit Hotline qualification line now. It's free to learn more.
800-455-7967. 800-455-7967. 800-455-7967. That's 800-455-7967. Paid for by Timeshare Defense.
Changes to Medicaid occur almost every year, and if you're not informed, your assets could be at risk, especially if you or your spouse need nursing home care. Cushing & Dolan are experts in elder law, and their new guide is called Last Minute Medicaid Eligibility. It'll help you understand the Medicaid process, which is critically important if you're retired or getting close to retiring. The guide has important information regarding numerous strategies that can protect your assets from the nursing home. It could be your primary home, a vacation home, or any rental property you may own. You've worked hard to achieve wealth, so don't take chances when it comes to protecting it. Get your copy of Cushing & Dolan's brand new guide called Last Minute Medicaid Eligibility. Call right now, 866-848-5699. That's 866-848-5699. Or you can request it online by visiting LegalExchangeShow.com. That's LegalExchangeShow.com. The proceeding was paid for and the views expressed are solely those of Cushing & Dolan. Cushing & Dolan and or Armstrong Advisory may contact you offering legal or investment services. Cushing & Dolan and Armstrong Advisory do not endorse each other and are not affiliated.
Hi, this is Mike Armstrong from the Armstrong Advisory Group. I'm joined today by Paul Lane to talk about our brand new guide for the month of July, AI and Your Financial Plan. Paul, one of the big areas that is a pain point for a lot of folks is working on their budget. It's kind of the step one for your financial plan. And I know there's a number of tools that are starting to incorporate AI in their budgeting plans. How is this starting to work and benefit folks?
Yeah, like you mentioned, Mike, it's an area which is really difficult. You ask a lot of the clients that we meet with on a regular basis, how much do you spend on a monthly basis? Simple question, but hard to come up with that answer. What these AI tools can do is aggregate all of your total spending together, categorize different areas, and use that data to try and project what you may spend in the future. This is a critical step in the retirement planning process to get a sense for what are you spending today and can you afford to spend that much in the future. It is important to note, certainly, that there are drawbacks that come with it too.
Yeah, talk to me.
This is a technology that's in its early stages, and it's only as good as the data that's fed to it. There can be some issues sometimes with properly categorizing certain types of expenses over time, and as such, you have to be very careful when you're using this type of technology and perhaps vet it against your own assumptions through that old school spreadsheet fashion as well.
It's always a good idea, but especially when we're talking about brand new emerging technologies. Folks, the brand new guide from the Armstrong Advisory Group is all about AI and how it could affect your financial planning strategy. If you would like to get your free copy, call the Armstrong Advisory Group at 800-393-4001. The guide again is AI and Your Financial Plan. It's available at 800-393-4001.
The proceeding was paid for by Armstrong Advisory Group, a registered investment advisor. Nothing in the ad or in any Armstrong guide is specific financial, legal, or tax advice. Consult your own financial, tax, and estate planning advisors before making any investment decisions. Armstrong may contact you to offer investment advisory services. The Financial Exchange is produced by Money Matters Radio and is hosted by employees of the Armstrong Advisory Group, a registered investment advisor. All opinions expressed are solely those of the hosts, do not reflect the opinions of Armstrong Advisory or anyone else. Investments can lose money. This program does not offer any specific financial or investment advice. Please consult your own financial, tax, and estate planning advisors before making any investment decisions. Armstrong Advisory and the advertisers heard on this program do not endorse each other or their services. Armstrong and Money Matters Radio do not compensate each other for referrals and are not affiliated. This is the Financial Exchange with Chuck Zodda and Mike Armstrong. Your exclusive look at business and financial news affecting your day, your city, your world. Stay informed and up to date about economic and market trends, plus breaking business news every day. The Financial Exchange is a proud partner of the Disabled American Veterans Department of Massachusetts. Help us support our great American heroes by visiting dav5k.boston and making a donation today. This is the Financial Exchange with Chuck Zodda and Mike Armstrong.
Chuck, Mike, and Tucker with you. We got stocks trading in mixed territory today with the Dow Jones Industrial Average down about 0.33%, 145 points. The S&P 500 up about 0.25%, 16 points. And the NASDAQ is up 63 points, or about 0.33%. So again, kind of mixed. Russell 2000 is down 0.5% because, I don't know, the Russell just gets beat up left and right and has been underperforming the S&P for quite a number of years with no end in sight.
Indeed.
At this point. It's just been a tough couple decades to be a small cap investor, you know, but it is what it is. 10-year U.S. Treasury selling off a touch up 3.2 basis points to 4.42%. Mortgage News Daily has the national 30-year fixed rate average at 6.78% yesterday, so probably bouncing back up into the low 6.8 range on the back of this move up in yields. Oil West Texas Intermediate up $1 to 66.25 per barrel. And we've got gold sliding $20.70 per troy ounce to 33.76 and 90 cents, down about 0.2%. After hours yesterday, Google, or the company formerly known as Google, now known as Alphabet, reported earnings. They were strong to quite strong, and so Google stock up about 1.75% today. On the other hand, Tesla, the company still known as Tesla, they reported earnings as well, and their earnings were poor to quite poor, and so the stock is down 8.9% today and trading around $303 per share. Let's talk a little bit about the housing market because we got some housing data. We've gotten a bunch of housing data this week that has come out, and basically what we are seeing is that the housing market is too expensive. It's the only way that I can phrase it. Inventory continues to grow. We're seeing inventory builds in single-family housing of about 30% year over year. In some parts of the country, those inventory builds are closer to 50% year over year. In what are increasing swaths of the country now, predominantly the Southeast, but broadening out into California, Colorado, and places like that, you are now starting to see areas where home prices are ticking down month over month. And in a number of places, most notably the Austin, Texas region and parts of Florida, you've got home prices falling fairly significantly year over year. And where this is ultimately going is that for the last couple of years, the trend has been towards lower transaction volume, higher sales prices.
Yep.
We are now heading in the next year or so towards higher transaction volume, but prices need to come down to get there.
Yeah, it seems likely that that's where
and
we're
they
headed.
are coming down, by the way.
Yeah, they are, and it's taking different formats, right? I've heard increasingly, for instance, of more competition in the single-family rental markets, which had been traditionally pretty small market, but big institutional buyers over the last few years have been buying up single-family homes in places like Arizona, like Florida, and renting them out rather than just attempting to flip them or develop them into something else. And suddenly you have people in Florida, Texas, and Arizona who have been trying to sell their home, don't like the prices that they're seeing, don't like the demand that they're seeing from buyers, and so are turning to renting them instead, all of which ends in the same place, which is rental prices then come down, meaning the price at which you'd be willing to accept for a sale comes down too if you're actually calculating how much income you can produce on a property.
So I think housing, and again, it's all regional. Our show is based out of the Northeast, and inventories remain low. Housing inventories in most New England states are still anywhere from, in the case of Connecticut, 70% below pre-pandemic levels. Most states in New England are anywhere from like 30 to 40% below pre-pandemic levels. If you go and take a look at Florida and Texas and Colorado, you're now seeing inventories that are, up significantly compared to 2019. And you've got other parts of the country that's broadening out to as well. California is seeing really rapid inventory builds right now. The Atlanta, Georgia region is seeing the same thing. It's up through Tennessee. It's down through, the Southwest is starting to pick this up as well. And so you're going to be in a position, I would say very likely by the end of this year, where the vast majority of the people in this country are living in a location that has more inventory than it did in 2019. And that means that prices need to come down given, I got to tell you, we keep adding this list of like things that aren't in the mortgage price. We keep adding to this list of things that are making it harder to own a home. Insurance costs we've talked about at length.
Yeah,
they're up and through the roof, and especially in some parts of the country. But nationally, like home insurance prices just continue to ratchet up. Property taxes continue to ratchet up. And the new one that's really popping up is, again, it's not new, but it's a renewed problem. Utility costs continue to ratchet up as well. And
we're going to be talking about electricity costs a lot over the next few years, it seems.
It's going to be a huge problem with all these data centers that are trying to come online and not enough power generation to make the math.
So we did just get our June data. Let's see. I think this was released on July 19th, so it is fairly recent. And like you said, there's a number of states that are kind of dominating this inventory uptick situation. Colorado is now taking the number one spot. They have seen a 34% increase in homes for sale compared to the same month in 2019.
Yep.
Texas and Florida are at 33 and 28% respectively. So Colorado's seen a very big uptick. Tennessee is up there with them as well, as is Arizona, Washington State, Idaho, and Utah. Many other states are included here in terms of, hey, there's a similar or more number of homes for sale compared to the same month in 2019, but those are the big heavy hitters. But
where's California?
To your point, there's only 5% fewer homes for sale in California today compared to 2019. That was like 30% just a few months ago.
In the next couple months, you're going to be at higher inventory levels. And so if you just look at the math on this, it effectively gets to the point where, okay, California, biggest state in the country by population. Texas, number 2 by population. Florida, number 3. You've got effectively almost 100 million people between those 3 states. It's a third of the population that's living in states where you're going to have, higher inventories. This is before you even get to, places like Georgia and Arizona and so on and so forth. So there's some housing is not a bright spot right now, and this is why you're seeing home builders pulling back on construction.
Home Depot and Lowe's will be some of the last reports that we get on earnings, if I'm not mistaken.
It's going to be really interesting to hear what they say.
Yeah. So nationally now, what we're talking about, again, I like to look at this data and compare it to where we were pre-COVID. June of 2025, there are still fewer homes for sale nationally than there were in June of 2019. That number was, I'm trying to recall in the worst of the worst time periods, but I think it was like half as many homes for sale as there were pre-COVID at points of time post-COVID. We're now 11% fewer homes for sale.
Yep.
Nationally, this housing market is starting to look a lot
more normal,
more normalized, other than the interest rates and prices that people have yet to get used to, especially the interest rates. The prices, I think people will always justify so long as the borrowing costs are low. The rate situation is one that people have not gotten used to, and
it's not gotten used to. It's just they can't afford it.
Yeah.
It's
plain and simple.
It's not like, oh, the rate's too high. It's no, the payment's too high.
Right.
Let's take a quick break here. When we return, Ted Rossman from Bankrate is here to discuss their survey on back-to-school shopping.
The Financial Exchange is now available every day from 11 to noon on SiriusXM's Business Radio Channel 132. Stay informed about the latest from Wall Street, fiscal policy, and breaking business news every day. The Financial Exchange is live on SiriusXM's Business Radio Channel 132. This is the Financial Exchange Radio Network. Summer's here, New England, and it's the perfect time to trade the daily routine for something extraordinary. Say hello to the U.S. Virgin Islands, America's Caribbean paradise. Explore the vibrant history and flavor of St. Croix, lounge on the stunning beaches of St. Thomas, or find your peace on the quiet shores of St. John. From the moment you arrive, you'll feel it. You're naturally in rhythm with the heartbeat of the islands. There's no passport needed, no currency to exchange, just warm weather, clear blue water, and unforgettable experiences waiting for you. Whether you're planning a romantic escape, a family adventure, or a little of both, this is the summer to make it happen. Go to visitusvi.com to learn more and start planning. That's visitusvi.com. Your island getaway is closer than you think. The U.S. Virgin Islands, where summer never ends. Book your trip today at visitusvi.com.
Our Artificial intelligence isn't just the future, it's already shaping how people think about their money. Hi, this is Chuck Zodda from the Armstrong Advisory Group. We've put together a new guide called AI and Your Financial Plan. In it, we explore the ways that AI is being used in financial technology, from apps that track spending to tools that can help identify trends. It's a rapidly changing space, and this guide is designed to help you understand some of the potential benefits and risks that AI may present. Want to learn more? Call 800-393-4001 and request your free copy of AI and Your Financial Plan. That's 800-393-4001 or visit armstrongadvisory.com.
The proceeding was paid for by Armstrong Advisory Group, a registered investment advisor. Nothing in the ad or in any Armstrong guide is specific financial, legal, or tax advice. Consult your own financial, tax, and estate planning advisors before making any investment decisions. Armstrong may contact you to offer investment advisory services. Changes to Medicaid occur almost every year, and if you're not informed, your assets could be at risk, especially if you or your spouse need nursing home care. Cushing & Dolan are experts in elder law, and their new guide is called Last Minute Medicaid Eligibility. It'll help you understand the Medicaid process, which is critically important if you're retired or getting close to retiring. The guide has important information regarding numerous strategies that can protect your assets from the nursing home. It could be your primary home, a vacation home, or any rental property you may own. You've worked hard to achieve wealth, so don't take chances when it comes to protecting it. Get your copy of Cushing & Dolan's brand new guide called Last Minute Medicaid Eligibility. Call right now. 866-848-5699. That's 866-848-5699. Or you can request it online by visiting LegalExchangeShow.com. That's LegalExchangeShow.com. The proceeding was paid for, and the views expressed are solely those of Cushing & Dolan. Cushing & Dolan and or Armstrong Advisory may contact you offering legal or investment services. Cushing & Dolan and Armstrong Advisory do not endorse each other and are not affiliated.
Hey, listen, are you a 50-year-old person looking for term life insurance? Then you need to talk to Bob. Bob specializes in helping people find $1 million or more of term life insurance for a couple of $100 a month. Look, you need to know there's a price war in the term life insurance business, and you may be paying too much. Call Bob, and he'll shop and see how much money he can save you. Look, this could be the last term life insurance policy you ever have. Your rates are guaranteed for the next 20 years. That's right, guaranteed level rates for the next 20 years. And if you're a smoker or your health is not perfect, Bob has great rates for you too. So for $1 million of term life insurance coverage for a couple of $100 a month, call Bob right now. 800-965-7987. 800-965-7987. 800-965-7987. That's 800-965-7987. Paid for by Term Direct.
Find daily interviews and full shows of the Financial Exchange on our YouTube page. Subscribe to our page and get caught up on anything and everything you might have missed. This is the Financial Exchange Radio Network.
We're joined now by Ted Rossman from Bankrate. They've done a survey on back-to-school shoppers, and Ted, we have other things that we got to prep for in my family, but I've got 3 school-age children, and I've got the lists, and they are long and seemingly expensive this year. Thanks for joining us. Talk to us about the survey you conducted, and obviously tariffs are on everyone's mind. So how are we seeing prices on back-to-school shopping shaping out?
We feared the worst with tariffs. It hasn't really arrived for back to school, I'm happy to say. The shelves are full, the prices are not bad. We've actually seen year-over-year declines in some of the key shopping categories like clothing and computers. Overall, 30% of back-to-school shoppers say that they're changing their buying habits because of inflation. That's down 11 percentage points from 2022. That, of course, was when inflation peaked in the summer of 2022. Really, ever since early 23, wage growth has consistently been outpacing inflation. People are feeling better this year, but it's still a hefty cost. The National Retail Federation says the average kindergarten through 12th grade back-to-school shopper is spending $858. That's down about $20 from last year, but it's still the second biggest shopping season behind Christmas.
Dear God, that's a lot of money. I guess I buy it between clothes and all the supplies, backpacks, etc., but that is a lot of money. Besides the inflation concerns, you do just still get the sense that consumers generally are feeling squeezed. We see that playing out in companies' earnings calls from Southwest and Chipotle talking about consumers. What are they saying when you ask them about how they are conducting their back-to-school shopping? Are they trying to be more budget conscious this year?
They are. There's a cumulative effect, to be sure. Even though inflation has come down a lot, in total, prices are up about 25% from the start of 2021. And that weighs on people because it's all these categories. It's back to school, it's housing, it's food, it's a lot of things. 49% of back to school shoppers say that they're actively seeking out some money saving strategies this year. That can include trading down to cheaper brands and stores. Also, a lot of people are seeking out coupons, deals, discounts. That fits into my advice, which is stack discounts whenever possible. Take advantage of a store promo, but don't stop there. Use a rewards credit card. Use an online shopping portal like Rakuten that'll give you additional cash back. Use Amex offers and Chase offers and other card-linked offer programs. A lot of states have sales tax holidays sometime in July or August. That can be a way to defray some of these expenses as well. Look to combine discounts wherever possible.
When you take a look at the categories, you mentioned the basket of back-to-school items is generally even cheaper in many categories. You did find a number of them, though, where prices are moving up this year compared to last year. What are those categories, just and where are people going to feel it in their wallet this year?
We're not feeling it so much on back to school, but we're feeling that spillover from other areas. Clothing prices are down a little bit year over year. Computer prices are down a little bit. But things are still more expensive than we were used to before the pandemic. Another thing you can do to save is to, well, first of all, take stock of what you have. If you can still use last year's fall wardrobe or last year's calculator or computer or pens and pencils and notebooks, I mean, whatever you can repurpose is good. Also, buy nothing groups are a good way to save. My wife loves these. We have 2 young kids, and she's always getting free clothes and toys and school supplies. And a lot of people in your neighborhood are happy to pass these on. So look on Facebook and other platforms. Thrift shopping is a thing. If you have teens, you might even take them to the thrift store and get some discount clothes. These are some ways that people can cut some corners and save money.
The last enjoyable part of Facebook, the marketplace aspect. Ted, thanks so much for joining us. Ted Rossman from Bankrate joining us today to talk about the back-to-school shopping season and the budget strain putting it on families. Thanks so much, Ted. Appreciate it.
Of course. Thank you.
All right, time for trivia here on the Financial Exchange. And on this day in 1998, Saving Private Ryan hit theaters across the country. Saving Private Ryan was obviously a massive hit for director Steven Spielberg and star Tom Hanks, as it was the 3rd highest grossing movie of the year. Trivia question today: who portrayed Private Ryan? Once again, who portrayed Private Ryan? Be the 8th person today to text us at 617-362-1385 with the correct answer, and you win a Financial Exchange Show t-shirt. Once again, the 8th correct response to text us to the number 617-362-1385 will win that t-shirt. See complete contest rules at financialexchangeshow.com.
Every day, the White House releases a schedule of the president's activities for the next day. And one of the things that we saw in yesterday's schedule release for today is that President Trump is going to be visiting the Federal Reserve this afternoon at 4 p.m. What makes this interesting is that presidents don't really visit the Federal Reserve. Federal
It's
Reserve,
a bit taboo.
The Federal Reserve building has been open for 88 years. It opened in 1937. The first president to visit was FDR for the opening, just to say, hey, like, we opened, the Fed building. The next one was Gerald Ford in 1975, who was swearing in his Fed chair. And in 2006, George W. Bush attended the swearing in of Ben Bernanke at the Fed as well. Other than that, U.S. presidents have not visited the Fed. So this is going to be, I don't know, a little bit of a surprise. But I think it's going to be interesting to see. It's going to be interesting to see how the Fed responds. It's going to be interesting to see how the Fed responds. It's going to be interesting to see how the Fed responds. It's going to be interesting to see how the Fed responds. It's going to be interesting to see how the Fed responds. It's going to be interesting to see how the Fed responds. It's going to be interesting to see how the Fed responds. It's going to be interesting to see how the Fed responds. It's going to be interesting to see how the Fed responds. It's going to be interesting to see how the Fed responds. It's going to be interesting to see how the Fed responds. It's going to be interesting to see how the Fed responds. It's going to be interesting to see how the Fed responds. It's going to be interesting to see how the Fed responds. It's going to be interesting to see how the Fed responds. It's going to be interesting to see how the Fed responds. It's going to be interesting to see how the Fed responds. It's going to be interesting to see how the Fed responds. It's going to be interesting to see how the Fed responds. It's interesting, I guess is the way of putting it. I'm curious in a couple different respects. Do we get video of this? What does that video contain? Is there a speech that's given? Is there a press conference?
Sure.
Like we don't know exactly what we are going to get, but this is
for context. I feel like, again, if you've been not paying close attention to this, it's all been surrounding a big pressure campaign from the White House on the Federal Reserve, on Jerome Powell himself, to not only lower interest rates, but look for reasons that the president could remove him for cause. And the thing that's been come up with is this very expensive renovation of the Federal Reserve buildings, and that's the context under which President Trump is visiting it. So, yeah, you don't know how this plays out, and, is this the method of distraction that the president so successfully employs, or is this something meaningful in terms of re-upping the pressure campaign on Jay Powell at the Federal Reserve?
Don't know, but I think we're going to have to just see what comes out of this afternoon, and it is notable to me that this is happening at 4 p.m. after markets close. I don't think that's a coincidence, and so we'll see what ends up happening here. As we head through the hour, stocks remain mixed with the Dow Jones Industrial Average now down 174 points. S&P is up 15, NASDAQ is up 73, so no major moves happening at the index level, but under the surface, you do have some stuff that is moving. We noted Tesla down about 9%. Also, Chipotle down around 12.5% now as well after some disappointing earnings there. On the other side of the equation, AMD, Google, and Amazon all up north of 1.5%. And so, given the market cap there, they're helping to keep markets afloat, even with more stocks down than up today. Let's take a quick break. When we come back, we got the trivia answer.
Bringing the latest financial news straight to your radio every day. It's the Financial Exchange on the Financial Exchange Radio Network.
Did you outgrow your timeshare and now you want out? But you can't. You can't sell it, and you can't get out of the contract. Imagine trying to get out of your mortgage. That's what a timeshare is. You can't just call up the bank and say, I don't want to pay it anymore. But we may be able to help you do just that. Listen, a timeshare maybe for you once was a great thing, but now you don't use it much. And they are not easy to get rid of. Plus, you do have to pay for it every month. Qualified timeshare owners can get out of their contract legally and permanently without ruining your credit or even filing bankruptcy. And imagine no more mortgage payment or fees. Call the Timeshare Exit Hotline qualification line now. It's free to learn more.
800-455-7967. 800-455-7967. 800-455-7967. That's 800-455-7967. Paid for by Timeshare Defense.
This is Michael Valila, Adjutant of the Disabled American Veterans Department of Massachusetts. The DAV of Massachusetts has helped me and countless others adjust to civilian life through a variety of incredible programs. Through our local Veterans Assistance Program, we provide necessary services to veterans and their communities, such as food shopping, landscaping, and companionship, but we need your support. You can help by making a donation today. Please visit dav5k.boston. That's dav5k.boston.
Sometimes we know what's next. Other times, it's impossible to know. Life can change in an instant. Don't be caught standing by the next time someone's heart stops. Knowing CPR gives you the ability to act and takes you from bystander to lifesaver. CPR is a life-saving skill. Join the nation of lifesavers today by learning CPR at heart.org/nation. National support for CPR education provided by Elevance Health Foundation.
Artificial intelligence is constantly evolving and can even be a revolutionary asset to a financial strategy. Hi, this is Mike Armstrong from the Armstrong Advisory Group. Our new guide is called AI and Your Financial Plan. In it, we explain how artificial intelligence continues to make inroads into our daily lives and how the advent of its technologies may affect an existing or future financial plan. AI serves the public in a variety of ways, from apps to monitor personal finances to tools that analyze investments. AI is not the future anymore. Its effect is felt by businesses businesses of all kinds on a daily basis. Call us today at 800-393-4001 and ask for your free guide. That number again is 800-393-4001, or you can request the guide online by visiting us at armstrongadvisory.com.
The proceeding was paid for by Armstrong Advisory Group, a registered investment advisor. Nothing in the ad or in any Armstrong guide is specific financial, legal, or tax advice. Consult your own financial, tax, and estate planning advisors before making any investment decisions. Armstrong may contact you to offer investment advisory services.
This is Tucker Silva of the Financial Exchange Show, and I'm joined today by estate planning attorney Todd Lutzke from the law firm of Cushing & Dolan with your Financial Exchange quick tip of the day. And today we're talking about techniques that can help protect your assets from long-term care expenses last minute. Todd, is the healthy spouse allowed to keep anything when the sick spouse enters a nursing home? And what happens if the sick spouse has the majority of the income?
Great question, because when you're talking about applying for Medicaid last minute, or when someone enters a nursing home and you want to do this last minute, they're going to look at both assets and income, right? So from an asset standpoint, as a married couple, they do allow you to keep approximately $148,000. That piece is indexed for inflation or changes every year. The sick spouse is allowed to keep $2,000. So you're around $150,000 of total assets that you can keep. By the way, if you're single, you only get to keep $2,000 in assets. From an income perspective, the good news is that the healthy spouse can keep all of the healthy spouse's income, Social Security, pension, you name it. And so it does not matter how much income the healthy spouse has, but they are entitled to at least a minimum monthly maintenance needs allowance, but no maximum.
Todd Lutzke and the estate planning experts at Cushing & Dolan have written a brand new guide that details last-minute Medicaid eligibility. You can request this brand new guide by calling 866-848-5699. That number again is 866-848-5699, or you can request it from their website, legalexchangeshow.com.
The proceeding was paid for, and the views expressed are solely those of Cushing & Dolan. Cushing & Dolan and or Armstrong Advisory may contact you offering legal or investment services. Cushing and Armstrong do not endorse each other and are not affiliated. Time now for Wall Street Watch. A complete look at what's moving markets so far today, right here on the Financial Exchange Radio Network.
Markets in mixed territories. Investors react to Mag 7 earnings from Alphabet and Tesla, who reported after the bell yesterday. While Alphabet's results impressed, Tesla's revenue disappointed. Right now, the Dow is off by about 1/3% or 146 points. S&P 500 is up by 0.2% or 16 points. NASDAQ is up 0.2% as well, 56 points higher. Russell 2000 is off nearly 0.7%. 10-year Treasury yield up 1 basis point at 4.398%, and crude oil up just over 1% higher, trading at $66 a barrel. Alphabet shares are climbing 2% higher after the parent company of Google and YouTube posted a jump in revenue in the second quarter driven by cloud growth. The tech giant also upped its annual capital expenditure forecast. As for Tesla, the EV maker reported a 16% drop in quarterly net income for the previous quarter and said car sales continued to fall. Tesla stock is down 9% now. Meanwhile, United Health Group said this morning it was responding to requests from civil and criminal investigators at the Justice Department following media reports of probes into its Medicare business. United Health Group stock is down over 3%. Elsewhere, Union Pacific is in advanced discussions with Norfolk Southern about a potential combination of two of the largest freight railroad leaders. Union Pacific stock is pulling back by over 2% now, while Norfolk stock is up modestly. Chipotle down by 12% after the burrito chain cut its same-store sales forecast after posting weaker revenue for the previous quarter. American Airlines beat on the top and bottom lines for the previous quarter, but its current quarter profit forecast fell short of estimates, sending that stock down by 7%. And yesterday, after launching an ad campaign featuring actress Sydney Sweeney, American Eagle Outfitters seems to be garnering meme stock attention, joining the likes of recent newcomers Open Door Technologies, GoPro, Kohl's, and Krispy Kreme. American Eagle shares are up by about 7% at the moment. I'm Tucker Silva, and that is Wall Street Watch. And in the previous segment, we asked the trivia question, who portrayed Private Ryan in the movie Saving Private Ryan? That would, of course, be Matt Damon. Dave from Georgetown, Mass. is our winner today, taking home a Financial Exchange Show t-shirt. We play trivia every day here on the Financial Exchange. See complete contest rules at financialexchangeshow.com.
Peace and CNBC. Most Americans think they know Social Security, but AARP finds they don't. Here's what they get wrong. What do they get wrong, Michael?
So I'm going to categorize these into two different buckets. One, just bad information about how the trust fund works. And generally people know that the trust fund is going belly up and going to be depleted sometime in the near future. 8 years now, by the way. 2033 is the most recent prediction. But they don't actually understand what that means. And so, bit of rapid fire here. If the trust fund does get depleted by 2033, Congress does not act, then everyone's benefits who are currently receiving Social Security are cut by some amount. And that
right now it's
latest
projected
estimate,
to be 19%.
19%. I've seen estimates that have been higher. But yeah, it's somewhere in that general range where you only get some 80% of your previous benefits if Congress were to do nothing. So there's some confusion about that. I see day-to-day a lot of confusion about different ages when it comes to
what
Social
does
Security.
full retirement age actually mean?
And it's confusing because it's shifted. So a few things. One, the earliest you can pull Social Security, assuming you're not disabled or a surviving spouse, all these special situations, but just a relatively normal situation, would be age 62. The latest you can wait is age 70.
So why for anyone who hasn't yet claimed is full retirement age 67? How does that make any sense? Let's be honest. It's a bad term to use given that it's not the oldest at which you can claim.
Right. So your full retirement age is the age at which you're eligible to actually receive the full benefits of Social Security without any drawbacks of still working.
Really should be phrased like standard retirement age or something like that.
And the other piece that's confusing, it's moved over time. It was 65, it's now 67. It's been anywhere in between those two places, depending on how old you are.
Yeah.
And there's another important date when it comes to retirement that people get confused about because Medicare age is 65, yet full retirement age in Social Security is 67. So I can get my health insurance at 65, but I can't get my full retirement benefits until 67. And in fact, if I go and work while receiving Social Security prior to that special age, then I actually get penalized. In 2025, if you are earning Social Security and you're younger than full retirement age, your benefits get reduced if your earnings exceed $23,400, and there's a formula that they use to do all this. I don't know if we need to cover every other thing that people tend to get wrong about it, but those are the big ones in my mind.
There's something in here that I want to read, though, just that I think is missing the point. Quote, younger Americans tend to have lower confidence in Social Security, with Americans in their 30s being the most pessimistic, the survey found. Quote, some of this could be that younger people just haven't experienced Social Security yet and don't understand how the program works, said Bill Sweeney, Senior Vice President of Government Affairs at AARP. Actually receiving Social Security changes how people view the program. Yes, if it operates the way it's supposed to. But I think that given the fact that right now, 8 years from now, there's projected to be a benefit cut if nothing else happens. I don't think that young people are looking at the program in a way that's out of line simply because the program is not being stewarded appropriately by the federal government.
I think the only piece that I would say about younger Americans and their views on Social Security is I do speak to a lot of folks who say, my kids shouldn't count on Social Security existing at all. I think that's probably off.
Yeah. I mean,
that seems really extreme to me. But predicting as a 30-year-old what your Social Security benefits are going to look like 30 to 40 years from now, good luck. I don't know.
Right. I think the way that I tend to phrase the statement is, I don't know exactly what Social Security is going to look like, so I don't bank on it being a specific number.
Yeah.
But it's nothing is certain, but it's very, very likely that it will exist in some form that probably has some changes from today, but not it's not going to be a drastic shift, most likely, but again, a lot can change, between now and then.
Frankly, if you're 30 years old, budgeting that into your plan isn't all that important. Where it's
not really worth it, yeah.
Pretty important is if you're 58 years old.
Yes.
And, oh, look at that. My retirement date happens to coincide with the same time that the trust fund is going belly up. Those are important questions to factor in. And very clearly, the Social Security program has some complexities to it beyond just how Congress is going to fund it in the future. If you are staring down retirement and maybe your retirement date coincides or comes close to that expiration date of the trust fund, give the folks at Armstrong Advisory Group a call so we can help you model this all out. It is complicated. We don't know how it will all play out in the future. But when you're that close, you need to have a coherent plan that addresses the subject. The number's 800-393-4001. You can also check out the website armstrongadvisory.com where you can book a call back. But that number, once again, for us at the Armstrong Advisory Group is 800-393-4001.
The proceeding was paid for by Armstrong Advisory Group, a registered investment advisor. Nothing in the ad or in any Armstrong guide is specific financial, legal, or tax advice. Consult your own financial, tax, and estate planning advisors before making any investment decisions. Armstrong may contact you to offer investment advisory services.
Mike, do you want to talk about Amazon, Target, or 4-day work weeks?
4-day work weeks.
Okay. So
By the way, I'm not coming in tomorrow.
Me neither.
Going solo.
We got AI Mike and AI Chuck who will be chatting with you tomorrow.
I don't know.
That's AI Mike. He
has a Canadian accent.
He gets a little Canadian occasionally. So there was a study that was conducted by Boston College researchers. They tracked about 3,000 people across 141 different companies in the U.S., U.K., Australia, Canada, Ireland, and New Zealand. They also had a control group of around 300 people doing a regular 5-day work week. And all these people were at the same organization. So the organizations volunteered to say, yes, we'll take some of our workforce and put them on a 4-day work week. And they asked them a bunch of questions as they went through the process. And they found that the workers who were on the 4-day work week had less burnout and better sleep than those who were on the regular schedule. 67%. I
hope so.
67% of workers reported reduced levels of burnout. 41% said their mental health improved. 38% experienced fewer issues with sleep. The control group did not show a meaningful shift in any of these metrics. So I think that when we look at this, I think that almost all of us would agree that in a perfect world, we don't have to be as focused on work as we are here in the United States in particular. The stuff where you have, emails creeping into the evening and being expected to respond to emails at 10 p.m. and this stuff, quite honestly, it's for the birds. And I know everyone's like, well, back in my day I worked hard. The goal is not to try to make every generation work harder than the previous one. It's to try to make our lives better for, the next generation. And so if my kids don't have to do as much as me, I kind of view that as a success. I'm not saying I want them to be lazy and just, sit around and not contribute in any meaningful way, but I don't want their lives to have the same problems that previous ones did. I think that's generally accepted, or at least I hope it is. The question on this is, okay, how do you manage this? But ultimately, the trend throughout human history has been fewer humans being able to do the same amount of work because we ramp up productivity gains. How do we balance that with our desire to solve all these new problems that are coming up? I don't know. But I think we're going to have to work on that because...
I don't know.
Again, if you talk to anyone who... Quite honestly, talk to anyone who does manual labor today of just about any kind. And they're not usually talking about a 5-day work week. They're usually talking about in some cases, a 7-day work week. And, if you happen to be listening to this show and you're on the job and you're like, yeah, Chuck, I work 6-7 days a week because I'm in, this business or that one, and that's just what my schedule is. What I guess what I'm getting at is, can we find ways to have some kind of improvement across all types of jobs so that we can still get the work done that needs to be done, but have better schedules in doing so.
It reminds me of a pretty good tweet that I saw a few weeks ago or months ago about artificial intelligence, where the general idea was, hey, we had all these ideas of automation which would help us do our job so we would have more time for leisure, and instead we created a bunch of AI that's really good at creating art and music. And
it's not good at it, though.
Yeah, but that's been the focus, is we create a bunch of AIs that attempt to replicate human creativity instead of automating away boring tasks, which is not great.
So the last week has really brought something into really sharp focus for me, in that accidentally artificial intelligence has proven that humans have a soul.
Oh, we're getting deep.
No. I want you to stick with me on this. Okay? Can you name one piece of art or one meme that artificial intelligence has made that has any staying power?
No, none.
And yet right now, if I said to both of you the word astronomer, you know exactly what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
And it's because
humans.
It's because there are actual real humans involved in any kind of actual art or any meme, or like the reason that you see a picture from a movie and you immediately know what that person's talking about is because you relate to exactly what that person in that picture is seeing. If I show you Jack Nicholson from A Few Good Men sitting on the stand there, face all scrunched up, you know exactly what he's saying. He's saying you can't handle the truth. And you know why he's saying it, you know what it means, because there's significance behind it. With artificial intelligence, there's none of that. There's no meaning in any of it. And so, by accident, I believe that artificial intelligence has proven that humans have a soul.
Okay.
Because it does not.
Deep read.
You're welcome. Let's take a quick break. When we finish up, we'll do a little bit of stack roulette.
Hear the Financial Exchange every day from 11 to noon on SiriusXM's Business Radio Channel 132. Keep it here for the latest business and financial news and the trends on Wall Street. The Financial Exchange is now live on SiriusXM's Business Radio Channel 132. This is the Financial Exchange Radio Network. An unexpected nursing home stay can be devastating to your savings. Call Cushing & Dolan today and request their new guide called Last Minute Medicaid Eligibility. Protect your assets from the nursing home and maintain your wealth. Call right now, 866-848-5699, or request the guide online by visiting LegalExchangeShow.com. That's LegalExchangeShow.com. The proceeding was paid for, and the views expressed are solely those of Cushing & Dolan. Cushing & Dolan and or Armstrong Advisory may contact you offering legal or investment services. Cushing & Dolan and Armstrong Advisory do not endorse each other and are not affiliated.
This is Michael Valila, Adjutant of the Disabled American Veterans Department of Massachusetts. The DAV of Massachusetts has helped me and countless others adjust to civilian life through a variety of incredible programs. Through our local Veterans Assistance Program, we provide necessary services to veterans and their communities, such as food shopping, landscaping, and companionship, but we need your support. You can help by making a donation today. Please visit dav5k.boston. That's dav5k.boston.
Artificial intelligence is constantly evolving and can even be a revolutionary asset to a financial strategy. Hi, this is Mike Armstrong from the Armstrong Advisory Group. Our new guide is called AI and Your Financial Plan. In it, we explain how artificial intelligence continues to make inroads into our daily lives and how the advent of its technologies may affect an existing or future financial plan. AI serves the public in a variety of ways, from apps to monitor personal finances to tools that analyze investments. AI is not the future anymore. Its effect is felt by businesses of all kinds on a daily basis. Call us today at 800-393-4001 and ask for your free guide. That number again is 800-393-4001, or you can request the guide online by visiting us at armstrongadvisory.com.
The proceeding was paid for by Armstrong Advisory Group, a registered investment advisor. Nothing in the ad or in any Armstrong guide is specific financial, legal, or tax advice. Consult your own financial, tax, and estate planning advisors before making any investment decisions. Armstrong may contact you to offer investment advisory services. Summer's here, New England, and it's the perfect time to trade the daily routine for something extraordinary. Say hello to the U.S. Virgin Islands, America's Caribbean paradise. Explore the vibrant history and flavor of St. Croix. Lounge on the stunning beaches of St. Thomas, or find your peace on the quiet shores of St. John. From the moment you arrive, you'll feel it. You're naturally in rhythm with the heartbeat of the islands. There's no passport needed, no currency to exchange, just warm weather, clear blue water, and unforgettable experiences waiting for you. Whether you're planning a romantic escape, a family adventure, or a little of both, this is the summer to make it happen. Go to visitusvi.com to learn more and start planning. That's visitusvi.com. Your island getaway is closer than you think. The U.S. Virgin Islands, where summer never ends. Book your trip today at visitusvi.com.
Celebrate National Farmers Market Week, August 3rd through 9th. It's the perfect time to explore your local market and enjoy some peak summer produce, sweet corn, juicy tomatoes, berries, and more. Support local farms, eat fresh, and build community. Mass Farmers Market supports more than 200 markets across Massachusetts, growing food access and farm sustainability statewide. Find a market near you at massfarmersmarkets.org. That's massfarmersmarkets.org. Sponsored by Mass Farmers Markets.
Sometimes we know what's next. Other times, it's impossible to know. Life can change in an instant. Don't be caught standing by the next time someone's heart stops. Knowing CPR gives you the ability to act and takes you from bystander to lifesaver. CPR is a life-saving skill. Join the nation of lifesavers today by learning CPR at heart.org/nation. National support for CPR education provided by Elevance Health Foundation.
The Financial Exchange streams live on YouTube. Subscribe to our page and stay up to date on breaking business news all morning long. This is the Financial Exchange Radio Network.
This segment of the Financial Exchange brought to you in part by the U.S. Virgin Islands Department of Tourism. 3 stunning islands, St. Croix, St. Thomas, and St. John, all just a quick flight away. No passport required, just sunshine, soft sand, and that warm island vibe. Craving a break? Plan your fall escape now and experience the beauty of America's Caribbean, the U.S. Virgin Islands. Book today at visitusvi.com. That's visitusvi.com.
Mike, what do you have for me for Stack Roulette?
I want to talk Vegas.
Vegas, baby.
We going?
No.
Oh.
But neither is anybody else. Air traffic into Harry Reid International Airport for the first half of 25 was down 4% compared to last year.
So somebody's going.
The Las Vegas Convention and Visitors Authority data for the first 4 months of the year showed a decrease in the overall number of visitors. And I just take that to be meaningful, not because 4% is a huge drop-off, but
it matters.
Vegas stands for something. And in the worst downturns in U.S. economic modern history, Vegas takes it on the chin when that does happen. Is this something one-time related to nervousness about the economy in the early part of the year that will reverse itself? Maybe, but I don't know. Something a little bit of a different economic indicator, I think, when it comes to, generally speaking, wealthy people spending that is on a downturn.
Counterpoint. And I'm not saying this is or isn't. Do you really need to go to Vegas if you can pull up 1 million prop bets on your phone and go in YOLO 0 days to expiration options on meme stocks?
Maybe not. So maybe this is a cyclical trend on casino gambling would be
secular
your point?
Trend, maybe.
Secular trend on, yeah.
You know, like what if, because we've made it so easy to gamble on your phone, casino traffic drops over the next decade?
Then that is about to get even. Then the gambling world is about to get even sadder than walking into the Mohegan Sun at 8:30 a.m. on a Tuesday.
I'm telling you, we got problems. I see so many kids, mostly men, in their early 20s that have real gambling debt problems because of the ease of access.
It's an interesting thought that I hadn't considered. Obviously, Vegas stands for more than just gambling. It is an entertainment mecca. But if it is just tied to the fact that, we can gamble a lot easier, not only on our phones, but in casinos now across the country that didn't exist 10 years ago, That's meaningful and,
I wonder.
and different.
It's just like at the margins is like half of that 4% because of that. You know, hey, I was going to go to Vegas, but instead I bought a bunch of options on this.
Right.
Or I, did a 63-leg parlay that, man, I came so close on. Because there's nothing like hearing about someone's parlay that they just missed on. We're done for the day. Quick break for the entire rest of it, and we'll be back tomorrow to finish out the week.